Now, it would take a lot to get me to stop cruising, but cruises are changing and some things are just getting worse. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I love cruising. Chances are if you're watching this video, you love cruising too, but it's hard to deny it. There have been some changes over the last few months or years, and not all of it is good. Now, before you come at me that I'm being very negative, I did make another video just a few weeks ago all about the things that have gotten better on cruises this past year, and they really have. So I'm going to leave that at the end of this video. But I did ask in that video, would you like to see a video about the things that have gotten worse? Because there are a few things. And I asked in my community for some things that people have thought have gotten worse. I got some amazing comments that I'm going to share with you today. Now, some of these comments might be complaints that you've heard before. They might even be complaints that you have. However, there were a few comments that did surprise me a little bit. And I have to say, I thought there were some really good points. And even to the point that there was a little bit of a theme here. And one comment that well, I'll tell you a little bit about my thoughts on this. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give this video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let's get started. Number one, too many rude, entitled passengers. Yes, people said they are tired of it. They're going on cruises and they're seeing people being rude to the crew. They're seeing people be rude to other passengers, and they've just had it. People are just not liking the drama. They want to go on a cruise. They want to be able to relax. They want to be able to have fun, and they're just not enjoying these sort of rude, entitled, even arrogant passengers that are sometimes on cruise ships. Now, in particular, people pointed out, of course, anybody who's fighting or behaving badly on cruises, but people also pointed out people that are really kind of impatient on cruises. The crew has really been through a lot and they are dealing with a challenging situation still. So I do think it is important for all of us as cruise passengers, as guests, that we are kind of, well, we still pack our patience. That is something that we still have to do right now. Number two, moving away from the passengers now, it is the slow service in the main dining room. Now, I'm imagining that this might differ from one cruise line to another, but a lot of people have said that since they've returned to cruising, they found that the service really is quite slow in the main dining room, to the point that some people said they're at dinner for 2 and even 3 hours, that it really is just too long a wait. Now, a lot of times what they're saying is this is really not the waiter's fault, the crew's fault, that they are very short-staffed still, that they maybe have too many tables to take care of, and this is making it hard for them to really give good service. Now, I do have a little bit of a tip for this one, because actually in my experience, we've had really quite good service in the main dining room on all of our cruises this past year, most of the time. However, one thing that I would suggest is if you are eating in the main dining room is let the waiter know right away that you have maybe a show to go to. So if you're sitting down at 7:30 and the show is starting at 9 o'clock, let them know that you'd like an expedited service. Oftentimes they really can do that for you. Number three, the food on cruises. Yes, this was something that people said has changed for the worst on cruises this past year. So people have said that sometimes it's the variety of food being offered, it's the menu changes. I definitely have seen that the menus have been a little bit like simplified on some of the cruises that we've been on, and I guess that is a little bit of a negative change. Other people have pointed out that the portions are smaller. Other people pointed out that the food presentation is not as nice. Please let me know in your experience, what is the food like on recent cruises that you've been on? Has there been a difference between one cruise line to another? Please let me know about your experience in the comments below. And of course, and I think this goes without saying, but none of us are starving on cruises, and really there are some very real food supply issues, so I do think that we have to be aware of this, but still please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Changing gears a little bit, number four, going back to full capacity. We were spoiled, weren't we, when cruises started up and we could sail at 30, 50, 70%. Obviously, that was a little bit of a better experience. Right now, I think that cruise lines are kind of getting back into the groove. Cruise passengers are getting back into the groove. There are a lot of things happening in the world, but definitely people are saying that being back to full capacity, well, maybe that's why some of these different issues are happening. Number five, I think we can all agree on this one. upcharges. People do not like upcharges on cruises. No matter how much you like cruising, no matter how much you like sailing with your favorite cruise line, there can't be anybody who likes an additional charge when they're on the cruise. So this is something that came up. People did not like additional charges, especially when these things used to be free on cruises. So this went from Carnival now charging for room service to some other cruise lines now charging for like lobster in the main dining room, or for even an additional plate of lobster. We were on a recent cruise and we absolutely loved our cruise, but in the specialty dining, there was an additional charge for an appetizer, which really did surprise me because there was an additional charge already for the specialty dining restaurant. So definitely seeing these additional charge items, even additional charges for activities on cruise ships, these are things that people say have definitely gotten worse. Number 6, the cutbacks on cruises. Now this one surprised me a little bit, not because I didn't know that a lot of people would have issues with the cutbacks on cruises, but a lot of people had issues with cutbacks on the little things, or maybe what might seem to some people like trivial things on cruises. And I have some thoughts on that, so I'm going to share that just a little bit later on in the video. But some of the cutbacks that people really didn't like were obviously the cutbacks to the food, the cutbacks to the drink menus, the cutbacks to the entertainment. These were all big things that people really didn't like, the cutbacks that they have seen. And of course, on every cruise line, things could be a little bit different. But the overall theme of this was that people said that the thing that they absolutely love about cruising is that it feels like a step above anything that you get on a land vacation, on a resort, at a hotel, at a road trip. And they felt like a little bit of an erosion of some of these things on cruises. Now, I really do have some thoughts on this, and perhaps it's even worth going further into it in another video. Let me know, please, if you'd like to kind of do that in another video, talk about like the little things. But basically, yes, those little things, those seemingly trivial things to some people could really make a vacation for other people. So for some people, it was that chocolate on the pillow at nighttime, so at their turn down service. They really missed that. They said, oh my goodness, I didn't see that on my last cruise and I missed it. Other people said they missed having their towel animal, and maybe not every day, but still having that towel animal. That was a little bit of a special experience. Now, I personally do think that those little things matter. So whether it's being handed a wet towel as you come back to your ship from a shore excursion on a very hot day, or if you're handed a glass of cold water, especially if it's been infused with some fruit, it is like a special touch that really kind of just elevates that experience of a cruise. And if all that was gone, I really do think I would miss it. Now, I realize that cruise lines have to look at where they can cut costs, and those little things might be one of them. But please let me know, do the little things matter? Yes or no? Please let me know in the comments below. The price of cruises. Now, it's hard to really blame cruise lines at all for this. Everything has gone up in price. So of course, cruises are going to go up in price too. Although I have to say, there are a couple of cruise lines that I've seen that have kept overall their prices relatively reasonable. But yes, cruises have gone up in price. Less waiters walking around and serving drinks around the Lido deck and the rest of the cruise ship. Now, being honest, this was something that I noticed a little bit before the pandemic. I noticed that there were a little bit less waiters sort of walking around and just serving drinks. And I sort of attributed it to maybe the fact that a lot of people had packages, that a lot of people had maybe beverage packages even as perks. So I was wondering if that may have been the reason. But definitely this is something that people have said that they've noticed there are less waiters now. And they do think the fact that there remains a little bit of a cruise shortage, I think it is getting better, that this probably has a little bit to do with it. The cruise protocols, or the lack of cruise protocols. Now this one definitely surprised me because it's not something that we talk about very much anymore, and especially on sort of cruise YouTube. However, there were some people that commented about this, so I thought that I would bring it up. Some people thought that the cruise lines should be doing a little bit more, that we're still in this sort of pandemic situation, and that they were a little bit unhappy maybe that there wasn't testing anymore, that there wasn't masking anymore, that there wasn't masking by crew anymore. Not on all cruises, but on many cruises. So please let me know what you think. Some people felt that they did everything that they could, but maybe they still ended up getting that, well, that C word on the cruise, and they weren't really happy with the way the cruise line had dealt with it. Now, the number 10 thing that people said has gotten worse on cruises, I did think that this is a little bit ironic, but it is the complaining passengers. So yes, people are complaining that too many people are complaining on cruise ships. So you know what they say, if you're complaining about complainers, you are still complaining. Actually, I'm just joking a little bit. And I know that we are very lucky to be able to cruise, and we're very lucky that this is actually what we're doing. You're watching a YouTube video all about cruising, and really, our life is overall pretty good if this is really what is on our mind. And to be fair, I did make a video about 10 things that are better on cruises. I'm going to leave that to watch next. So please let me know what you think is worse on cruises, but watch that video next, all about what is better on cruises. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.